Hi everyone and welcome to another episode of Life Changers for Life. I am your host David Octavio Gandell. Today's Life Changer, you might have recognized her because she has been in movies like Miami Vice, she's been in movies like Step Up 4, she's been in movies and commercials and TV. She's also been on stage with Chayanne and Sean Paul, and she was a Miami Heat dancer for a while too. And more importantly, she's studying her doctorate, almost finishing her doctorate. And she also has a nonprofit and a for-profit company as she gets to be a life changer for kids with autism. Ladies and gentlemen, Karélix Alicea, welcome to Life Changers for Life. How are you?
Hi, David. Thank you so much. What an honor to be on your show. I'm doing excellent. I'm doing very, very well. How are you?
Well, you know, when I was starting to get to know you, and then all of a sudden I started reading about everything that you do, and everything that you're getting ready to do, it reminds me of me. I'm like, who else is crazy enough to take on everything? You know, I'm a TV host, I'm a fitness show host, fashion shows, I have my nonprofit, production and modeling and all these other great things, right? And you just remind me of me. It's just like, wow, this young lady is literally living her dreams. And that to me is such a blessing to get to meet someone like you. And I love the fact that you were able to make time for me this week and do this amazing episode, because I want people to see I'm not the only one that's crazy. You too can live your dreams. You know? So get ready to listen to an amazing story. Tell me a little bit. For me, I tell you, I'm alive on stage. You're a professional dancer. You were able to work for the Heat. You were able to, be on concerts, music videos, all that stuff. What is your favorite place to be?
My favorite place to be, that's a big question because I do have a lot of favorite places. Being on stage, on a live stage, is definitely up there. There's nothing like the feeling you get, like the rush of the crowd, the energy when people cheering, or when people are cheering you on, and especially when it's to live music. I'm a huge fan of live music, and so being able to join those passions has really been such a blessing. So definitely being on stage performing is one. I would have to say another one of my favorite places to be is definitely home in Puerto Rico. I was born in Santurce, Puerto Rico, and that's still home. I've lived most of my life here in Miami, and I do love Miami. I love my city, but I'm a Boricua al fin.
Yeah.
And when I get home and when I get to just spend quality time with my grandmother and with my aunt and my godmother, my entire extended family is over there. So I definitely love going back home to Puerto Rico.
Well, we have something in common because I was born in Santurce, Puerto Rico, and so was my mother. So we have something really, really, we're cangrejeros, right?
Yeah.
I was always a dancer, but not like you. I mean, not to the level of professionalism and to the level that you've done. Puerto Ricans were born, and after they smack us on the butt, the first thing we do is we dance salsa. So I can never ever compare myself to you. The more I research about you and what you've accomplished in a very short amount of time, you've had an amazing and blessed life when it came to that. Now, all those blessings always come with challenges, right? And what are some challenges that you felt that you've had in your life throughout that career?
Throughout my professional dance career, I think there were so many more blessings than challenges, I would have to say. But if I had to hone in on challenges, I would have to say maybe being respected as a professional. I'm very much involved even till this day. I mean, I'm a retired professional dancer. I retired 3 times. I kept going back because amazing opportunities kept presenting themselves to me and I just couldn't say no. But I'm definitely retired, I think maybe for good this time. But I'm still very much involved with Dancers Alliance Miami. And I am a SAG-AFTRA member.
Yes.
And you mentioned that I've been in some movies and stuff, so I'm definitely I'm a very proud union member. And along with that, I'm one of the leaders for Dancers Alliance Miami. We are a group that helps to obtain equitable pay rates for professional dancers in the industry. So I think that's one of the challenges. I think especially when we do Spanish language television, like Univision and Telemundo, award shows featured on these Spanish language televisions, like the Latin Grammys,
Billboards, yep.
Right. Sometimes the pay is not equitable to what you would receive were you dancing, for instance, at an English language television show or on an English language television network. And so some of the more important work that I've done with Dancers Alliance Miami and along with SAG-AFTRA was to establish equitable rates, to establish, meal breaks, to establish pay. Oh my gosh.
I understand. It's like a union. So, I mean, you're trying to help everyone come together, and someone needs a voice. And what better voice than someone that has been in movies, television commercials, TV shows, on stage with Chayanne and Sean Paul and all these, Chris and Angel. I mean, all these amazing people you've been on stage with, but at the same time, someone has to have a voice. Someone has to have a respectable voice that they're willing to listen to. And someone that has done it and paved the way is always great. It's interesting because when I listen to you, I think of someone like J-Lo that always talks about the dancer's life is a life of passion, right?
Yeah.
And I always say that, living your purpose is also a life of passion. And because that's not always equitable to pay or what you deserve in terms of financial gains. But when you live with purpose, you get gains that you can't ever really equate to money. And I think that that's probably something that you're really learning right now, because you, like me, you finally have a nonprofit. You have a 501c3, Lotus Children, which now you get to live your passion daily by raising awareness, raising funds, and giving these children an amazing voice, where most of them are still trying to find their voice.
Yeah, and unfortunately, some will never have a voice. Approximately 30 to 40% of children diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder are considered nonverbal. They don't speak. And so, alongside building my professional dance career, I was always studying, and psychology was a passion of mine. So I found the field of behavior analysis. I've been working in the field of behavior analysis for 20 years, just as long as I was a professional dancer. I always kind of lived a double life.
You did.
And throughout my career in helping children and families, because I also work very closely with parents and the primary caregivers of these children, I saw there was a huge gap. There were a lot of children that were uninsured, that weren't getting the help they needed. There were a lot of children that were underinsured with really high out-of-pocket expenses that also weren't getting the help they needed at the intensity or the duration that they required to succeed. I saw a lot of parents that were really overworked and had no time for themselves, no special date nights. I saw a lot of broken marriages. And so I definitely decided to fill that gap, which is why I founded the Lotus Children TLC. We're doing a lot of great work for babies on the spectrum, especially now during the pandemic when our families need us more than ever. We're doing a lot of telehealth, and we're providing free respite care as well. That's coming up soon. As soon as this pandemic is over, we're going to be offering free respite care to families. So anybody interested in that can definitely stay tuned on our page. It's thelotuschildren.org. And I'm super proud to be doing this work, and a lot of it is going to be done alongside CARD, which is the Center for Autism and Related Disabilities. We're partnering with them to make sure that our resources go out and reach the families that need us.
Yeah, I saw an ad that you put on social media, and you're saying we're looking for kids or something like that. I forgot the exact ad, but I just thought it was so cute. And I remember that ad because I told you that I have two of my closest friends. One is in Miami. He has a foundation for kids to play kids with autism to play soccer. And then one of my best friends, Orlando Rivera, who happens to be a 5-time kickboxing champion. Also, him and Dina have an amazing foundation for putting kids in workouts, kickboxing, boxing, and just teaching kids about how to release, right? All that energy. And so my first call was, Karélix, we got to talk because I need to put you in contact with these people. That's how we connected. And I just thought that was just, God has an amazing way of connecting people. And it's interesting because I called you to see, hey, how can I be of service to you? And how can I connect you to these people that I feel are doing something similar in terms of giving these kids an outlet? And again, caring, being kind to these kids where the world doesn't understand them half the time, right? And Orlando does happen to have a kid with autism, a functional autism. He drives, he has a job, which is not, we know the percentages are not the max, right? So I just thought that what you were doing was kind of awesome. I still didn't know this amazing career as a dancer, as an actress, as a leader. But here's the one thing I want you to hear when she's speaking. She is doing the exact same thing in both careers. She is leading and giving a voice and bringing awareness and leading everyone else in those paths. So when you're thinking about, oh, well, I used to do this when I was a kid. Yeah, that's what I call preparation. And you were prepared to do it as a dancer. Now you get to do it in the professional world, in a foundation, in an organization to help children. But not only that, the parents that sometimes feel they're overwhelmed, sometimes feel they don't have anyone listening to them. No one's really giving them guidance. And Karélix, you're doing that. I know that you're probably like me. We're always go, go, go. But I want to share this with you. And one of the main reasons I wanted to have you in the show and introduce you as a life changer was because I want you to understand that people like me acknowledge people like you. And other people are acknowledging what you do. Even when we don't get to hear it, because sometimes we're on the go, 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 go. But I wanted to tell you, I'm proud of you. I'm proud to get to know you. And I'm excited to see what you're going to do here in Miami. Like me with my nonprofit for children with cancer. We want to take over Miami. We want to lead the pack. And we want to, be able to give inspiration to so many people, But I do want to bring this up. You're getting your doctorate as well on top of all the other stuff you're doing. Why are you such a studied, I don't want to call you anything, but you're like a study bug, right? You're just like, you can't get out of it. What is up with that?
It's okay. I've always loved learning. My parents always instilled in me a love of learning. I always have loved the challenge of learning something new and mastering something new. I'm a perfectionist. I love to get everything just right. I always excelled in school. I took an AP psychology class in high school, which is what made me fall in love with autism. And then, I got my bachelor's at FIU, I got my master's at FIU. And now I'm completing my doctorate degree at Nova Southeastern University. In applied behavior analysis. Again, it's a branch of psychology. Nova considers it in the School of Education. So I'm going to hopefully have an EdD soon.
Got it.
I'm finishing up my dissertation now. I'm doing a study on teaching American Sign Language to the parents of nonverbal children with autism through telehealth.
Wow. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm listening to this and it's like, okay, where does it stop? Let me tell you something. I've learned in my life that that's just the beginning. Usually when you're passionate about something, anybody that knows me knows that I am nonstop and I just want to live every day to the fullest. And Karélix, you're living every day to the fullest. And I love what you said right now because a lot of people usually find their passion in maybe they're tied to something. For example, with me, cancer, my Foundation for Children with Cancer is because I'm a 2-time cancer survivor. And I asked you, I said, why was your love for autism? And it didn't come from you didn't have a child with autism, but you just kind of something inside of you kind of lit up when you studied it.
Yeah, I read a book about autism again when I was in high school. It's called Sunrise by Barry Neil Kaufman. I'll never forget it. And I fell in love with the enigma that autism was. It was something that nobody could figure out at the time. Back then when I was in high school, the prevalence rates for autism were 1 in over 1,000. And nowadays, the CDC just estimated that 1 in 54 children are going to be diagnosed with autism before they turn 8 years old.
Wow.
And so, I mean, it's really kind of taken the world by storm. Back then, again, not much was known about it. And when I started at FIU, I took a behavior analysis class, and the professor just so happened to specialize in treating children with autism. And I was like, I need to work for you. I'm going to ace your class, and you're going to love me. And, you know, that's the way it worked out. I was one of the top students in the class. She invited me to come work for her. I worked for her for about 5 years. I was promoted to Associate Director of Site-Based Interventions, where I was able to start working, helping families, learn the techniques and the procedures that we use in the field of ABA to help their children learn better, and also to reduce their problem behavior, so less tantruming, less self-injurious behavior, less self-stimulation. And so that was incredibly rewarding. I knew that I had found my passion and that I was going to dedicate my life to these babies, like, forever.
So I know this is an easy question to answer, but I know people are asking it probably. What did you prefer? You prefer being a dancer, or you prefer being a teacher and an educator and a leader in the autism fight?
Honestly, I could never, ever, ever choose. I could never choose. It's like my right brain loves art and music and dancing and performing and acting, and my left brain loves science and math and statistics and figuring out treatment plans. And so I have to feed my whole brain.
Amen.
And I can't choose, which is why I always did them both. I always figured out a way to do both.
Where do you think you got that drive and that commitment to being excellent or perfect? So I've always, I can't ever not bring up my parents, my mom, my dad. My mom's a doctor, you know that. And I told you that. She does therapy and stuff like that as well. So she has 2 doctorates. So, and then my father as well, educator as well. And it was just one of those things that I looked at them and it's like, okay, well, I can't let them down. And not only that, I was very blessed to have 2 parents that pushed me to always get an education. And, but I've been a perfectionist in everything I do. Like, it drives people crazy. You probably get to hear that all the time from other people. But where does your drive come from?
So I have to say that I've always been very motivated, very self-motivated. I've always had a lot of intrinsic motivation, right? To be the best that I could be and to be perfect. I think I have a little bit of OCD tendencies. Like, I have to do it again. It's not quite right. But I also have to give credit to my parents because, again, they always instilled excellence in me. And I've always had, for some reason or another, everyone in my life has always called me out on, hey, I see you doing that over there. I know that you can do better. Let me take you under my wing. I've always had amazing mentors my whole life too, who also helped and encouraged to push me along my way. Like, you're up there. Let's keep going. You're headed in the right direction. Try this. And so I can't take all the credit for, everything I've been able to accomplish. I owe it to so many people. And honestly, I don't really like to talk about myself very much. I'm kind of embarrassed talking about myself. But I definitely think it's an honor that you have me on here. And
well, get ready to do it often, because you're someone, like I said, this show is about life changers. This is about people that are impacting the community, impacting the world, and get ready to do that, because here's the thing, and you know this, you have a voice in multiple platforms just like me. And if we don't share our story and we don't share what we do, no one will ever get to listen to it. So you're gonna get to be doing this a lot. So I'm just pretty much one of the first ones, but you're gonna be able to do this. And then we're gonna look back at this interview and we're gonna be like, hey, there it is.
Yeah, no, it's fun. I think it's a little difficult because it's ironic, because I am a performer and I love to be on stage and on camera and all these things, but it's never really about me. I'm always showcasing someone else. The artist I'm I'm dancing with or the person I'm interviewing.
Correct.
And so when it's about me, and I am a very private person, I kind of always have been. I'm a little bit shy in that sense in my personal life, even though I am very outgoing and very social. But this is fun.
Yeah, that's why I'm having a blast. I get to interview you today. I get to brag about you, which is awesome. What is your favorite? I don't want to finish the interview really quick, but I want to talk about what was your favorite moment in being in a movie or being on stage. What is one memory that you can share with us that was like that? This like wow, I got like for me, of course, Steve Harvey. For me, being in theater and being in a play, I just did a play a few years ago. You're Never Alone, and just to be back on stage in front of a crowd and be able to act out these amazing performances was really cool for me. What is one memory that you can think about that was like, God, you really did this to me? This is awesome.
I've had so many, David. The first one I can think of that left a huge impression on me was Game 1 at the American Airlines Arena on Miami, because that was my first big gig that I booked as a professional dancer. I made the Miami Heat dance team. I want to say it was 2003. I know that Dwayne Wade and I started the same season. So whatever year that was, it was 02 or 03, I can't remember. But I started that season, and I remember just feeling awestruck, just walking out onto the court.
20,000 people.
I remember the lights were all off, and so you could just see it was dark, but they had strobe lights going on, and then they had the fire. You know how they do the.
I loved their opening. I recorded. I used to record their opening every time I went to the games. It's the same opening. I don't know, but why do I record it all the time? I used to record it. But there's nothing like the playoffs. I mean, I love the playoffs here in Miami. I look forward to basketball being back and the playoffs being back. And Dwayne is certainly Wade County. We know that. I mean, he brought up the championships.
Always. Yeah, that probably wasn't like the biggest thing I did in my professional dance career, but I guess I had to mention it because it was my first big thing,
one.
And that impression has been very lasting throughout all these years.
So we know that it takes an army sometimes to support what we think we want to do or what we believe we're supposed to do, right? Some people don't believe in us, some people do. But I've been very blessed to be able to listen to the people like the mentors of my family that does believe in me. When it comes to you, and comes to believing in your dreams and everything you're doing, what is one word that has kept you always pushing towards, I hate using the word perfection because it's not about that, it's about basically fulfilling your destiny, fulfilling your purpose. But what is one word that just you want to share with us today, and also define that word for us that maybe right now, I mean, Karélix, we're living in very uncertain times. People don't know, what's going to happen next. There's people that are not, they're at home, they can't leave. And there's people that are going through loneliness and depression. There's people that are very overwhelmed. And part of the reason I wanted to do this show is to bring people like yourself that even though you have accomplished a lot, there's always challenges along the way, but there's always a pressure because you know that you want to accomplish something. And it's never easy. People think it's easy, but it isn't. But what is one word that you can share with us and define that word for us that might give somebody at home hope today?
I think one word that I like to use to characterize, I guess, my day-to-day existence here on Earth is thrive.
Okay.
It's something that has been in my motto as of late, especially, I mean, again, like you said, we're all under so many pressures, with the global pandemic being one of them. I've had to make a lot of adjustments in my businesses with how we deliver services to our children and everything. And I've been saying to myself, I don't want to just survive this. I want to thrive.
Amen.
I don't want for our children to just survive this pandemic. I want them to thrive. Same thing for our clinicians. And so I I think to thrive is to not just cross the finish line, but to power through it, right? To sprint through that finish line and not just like crawl through it on your hands and knees. I think that's something that keeps me really motivated. I know that I still have so much work to do. You know, I aspire to one day have a school for children with autism, and that's something that it's still in the back of my mind. I have to see it in front of me. I have to visualize it. But I know there are steps I have to get. I have to fulfill before I get to that spot. So, I think thrive is something that we should all look forward to doing. And it's something that we have to do actively. We have to, what are you going to do today to make sure you thrive? It's an active, it's not a passive, right? We don't passively thrive, we actively thrive. And so I like to put into practice just things to make myself better, things to make me smile when I'm going through a difficult time. And things to make sure that I do what I need to do to take care of myself so that I can fulfill all the responsibilities that I have in life. My simple things like, am I eating? Am I drinking water? Am I eating? Am I exercising? And so when I do all those things and I take care of myself, then I can better care for everyone else who's counting on me.
Amen. Well, I want to say first, thank you I know your busy schedule. We've talked for a few weeks now. And I want to say thank you for making this happen for me, because I wanted to do this. I wanted to interview someone like you, someone that's changing the community, someone that's changing lives every day, and someone that's thriving while doing that. But more importantly than that, I'm looking forward to witnessing all that God has for you. And I cannot wait to just be able to be a witness to that. So thank you for doing this for me. Well, as we finish the show, and we thank Karélix for her time today and her message of thriving. I have to go back to my story. And of course, thriving for me was something needed, because I didn't want to just be a cancer survivor. I am a 2-time cancer survivor, but that's not who I am. That's what I did. But I wanted to do more than survive cancer. Because remember, if you know my story, I made a promise to God. I said, God, heal me, and I'll tell your story. And making that promise is something that I've been consistent for more than a decade. And I've had to thrive to be able to do that. I've had to overcome a lot of challenges. And at the same time, not just physical or mentally or spiritually, but other people that never understood why I wanted to do this. Why I wanted to share a story that a lot of people would like to forget, because it's a story of suffering and sacrifice. Well, as I think of Karélix and I think of thriving, and I feel her energy and I feel her passion, and I also feel her just genuinely having a very open moment, a genuine moment that she's sharing with us, I can see that there's so much in there that thriving was what got her through it. For me, that thriving led me to be cancer-free, but more importantly, to be able to share my story with the world. So I hope that this message really hit home today. I hope that you look at thriving as, like she said, don't just cross the finish line, sprint through it. And remember that after you win the race, there is a lot after. It's not just winning the race, but it's using that platform to continue to do more. I love her story. And today we only had a short amount of time to share her passion for dancing, for movies, her studying, doctorates, master's degrees, all these other great things. Lotus children, her baby. We had a very short amount of time. So I hope you get a chance to really just search her out, see what she's up to. And if you ever feel like you want to be part of her team, I have a feeling it will be an amazing experience in your life. Because like she said, not just her parents, but mentors that were able to teach her, take her under their wing. I am so blessed for my friends and my mentors, my teachers, my counselors that took me under their wings when I really needed it, because we all need assurance in life. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope this is an amazing message today. I want to thank Karélix one more time for this amazing story of your life, and it's just beginning. This is going to be an amazing, amazing decade for you. I cannot wait to witness it. And like I always say, find hope, have faith, and live every day with purpose. And just because I want to add my fourth one that I've added sometimes is be a miracle in someone's life today. Karélix is. Are you? God bless you guys. Good night.